Good evening, everyone. I'm extremely sorry that we missed the elective briefings on the scheduled date. However, we are here to discuss some of the intricacies that we have for the courses that I'm going to float as an elective for the BM program. Okay, the first one that we have on for us is basically fixed income securities and market. This is going to be there in term 5, and this is going to be an interesting subject over there. Now, a lot of us are very much fascinated with the fact that like equities market is doing well. We keep a track of how equities market is doing. We keep a track of like how Sensex is going up, Sensex is going down, or maybe Nifty 50 is going up or down, right? But many of us don't know that the fixed income securities market is thrice the size of the market of equity, right? An interesting fact, right? And it is definitely a valuable source for raising capital. And like maybe in your corporate finance course you must have gone through that fixed income securities are basically the cheaper source of capital as well, right? And any instructor would always tell you that, okay, like if you have to optimize your capital structure, you have to include some amount of fixed income securities or like bond or debt into your capital for sure, right? So this course is going to highlight some of these understandings about fixed income securities, fixed income markets, right? How to manage some of those like risks associated with fixed income securities as well, right? So this is what basically the course is all about, right? So we will look at the two basic facts or facets that we are going to look at, right? So we will try to figure out, right, what basically fixed income securities are, and like what kind of market microstructure that we have for fixed income securities over there, right? So we will also look at the various concepts pertaining to fixed income securities and how these are used in the real life scenarios over there. Okay, so that's what basically this course is going to cover. Okay, so we will look at the fixed income securities market fundamentals, risks associated with fixed income securities, valuations of fixed income securities, few derivatives of fixed income securities there, and then few credit analysis and credit rating approaches towards fixed income, right? So many a times you would have come across that, okay, bonds are rated A, triple A, right, or B, right? So where does this rating come from? How do we rate them, right? So, and what does it mean? And if I'm an analyst, right, so how do I look at these ratings? And let's say that if I'm going to join a company like Crystal or Moody's or Fitch, right? So how do I rate them over there, right? So these are some of the things that we are going to look at. You must have also taken, or you might be also interested in like using fixed income as a part of your personal or professional portfolio as well, right? And I'm talking about the investment portfolio over here. So how do we make sure that we are using fixed income securities in an optimal way as a part of our own portfolio management as well, right? So we will look at some of those aspects into the course as well, right? So these are the course learning outcomes, right? So I believe that all of you already have the course outline with you, right? So do browse through it, right? You will be able to understand that what basically we are going to look at it. Now, those aspirants who are looking at CFA, right? So you can also look forward to this course, because like a lot of things that we are going to cover over here, that will be very much correlated with like CFA level 2, level 1, and also we'll try to cover some aspects of level 3 as well during the course that we have, right? So that is an added incentive for people over there. Now, a few people have questions about like how's the pedagogy going to be, right? So we are going to use a lot of practical examples, right? So we are going to get certain cases into the discussions, right? We will try to get some hands-on exercises with like items or basically information that we are going to collect from like secondary sources, and Bloomberg is going to be a primary source for a lot of such information as well. Okay, so that is something that we are going to look at it as well. Okay, now is it like very mathematical intensive? So I would suggest that like it's not that mathematical intensive, and again it is like highly relative way of saying like how mathematical intensive the course is all about, right? I still ask people to consider finance as a subject which basically uses the compound interest formula, or basically the compounding formula that we use, right? So that is the very plain and simple way of looking at how things are. Few elements may be slightly complicated, but we do have Excel at our reserve, right? So that can basically help us in trying to create some easy templates to basically take certain decisions at our end, right? So it's going to be Excel based, it's going to be like more practical oriented, it's going to be using Bloomberg Terminal for a lot of information as well, right? So if you are interested in making it more realistic, real life, and more practice oriented, right? So this is a course that you should take for very sure, right? Now if you look at the plan, right, so I have tried to cover basics. At the same time, we have also tried to ensure that like we indulge with like what market is looking for, right? So if you look at the topic like introduction to fixed income securities market, where we get to know about the playing field, right? So where are we going to operate, right? So which are going to be our instruments, right? So what instruments that we have, what kind of price and yield conventions are there, the benchmarks that are used in fixed income markets as well. Now, as I mentioned that like we are going to look for a lot of information through Bloomberg Terminal. So I'm going to have like a couple of sessions on Bloomberg Terminal. Like it will be basically how to assess information from Bloomberg Terminal, right? What kind of data that is available, and like when we are basically performing the job as a like probably a fixed income research analyst, like so how like basically we go about it. So all these pieces of information will be shared during the third and fourth session, when we are trying to look at how Bloomberg Terminal is going to allow us to access a lot of data pertaining to fixed income securities market there. Now a couple of you might have been like interested in taking BMC certification, and BMC certification does provide you a hint of like what fixed income securities market is all about. So if you have already done it, you can always go ahead and browse the same videos which is available on Bloomberg Terminal, right? And then you can access that like, okay, like this is what basically fixed income securities market looks like. And again, we will be definitely covering it in the class as well. Okay. Now when we are looking at the fixed income securities, right? So we know that these are basically debt securities. Now we have to look at it from both the perspectives, right? So if we are financing debt securities, right, and if we are basically lending debt securities. So who knows, you may be a part of an investment banker and you may be interested in like financing debt securities, and on the other side you may be just a banker itself, you are basically more interested in like lending through debt securities over there, right? So we'll analyze both these aspects, and we'll be looking at some of those like concepts pertaining to financing of debt securities over there. We will look at the valuations of bonds, right? Liquidity premiums, like probability of default of a risky bond. We'll look at the term structure and yield that we have, right? So a couple of terms like yield to maturity, right? Zero coupon yield or zero coupon bond, like so all these things you must be already like aware of. And again, we will be looking at all these much in detail. Then we will be looking at fixed income market risk analysis, right? So we will cover the risk aspect of the fixed income securities that we have. We will look at certain more in detailed analysis of certain fixed income securities, which are more of like asset backed or mortgage backed securities that we have. So we will be looking at those as well. And then towards the end, we will be looking at the fixed income derivatives, right? So because we know that like derivatives are one of the hugely traded instruments into the market, and everyone wants to hedge against any certainty out over there, right? So how do we basically look at that in the fixed income securities market, right? So that is what we are going to look at in this case as well. Okay. We will look at how the credit analysis and how the credit rating works, as mentioned earlier. So, and this will be very important for those people who are planning to appear for like certain companies like ICRA or CRISIL or Moody's or Fitch, right? So you will be very much intrigued by what we are basically covering in these sessions over here. And towards the wrap up of the course, we are going to have certain project presentations. I'll try to bring some practitioner for a session, and we will try to create the storyline, right? So we'll basically try to rewind the storyline. How did we start and how did we end up towards the course? What we have learned, what we have covered, right? And what are the future aspects pertaining to the fixed income securities market? So that is what we are basically doing in this course. Now, the level of complexity pertaining to assessment, it's fairly plain and simple. So you have got two quizzes, right? So 10 marks each. Then you will be evaluated on your class participation. And I would love to have an active class participation over there, right? There will be one assignment of 10% over there, right? So that is a group assignment. So you will be working on some real life project over there, right? So where you will be gathering information from Bloomberg Terminal or other secondary sources, and you will be looking at like how again the detailed objective or detailed assignment detail will be shared with you. Then to cover whatever has been taught till the mid of the course, right? We'll basically go through the midterm exam, and this is also serves as a practice for the end term exam as well, right? And the kind of problems or the kind of questions that we ask, or at least that I ask in exams, is more about like practice oriented, right? So it may be a case study analysis, or maybe a like a caselet which you will have to analyze based on certain set of information that has been provided in the case as well. Okay, so that is what the course is all about, right? Now couple of interesting insights which I have got for you in this case is that like what happens if you basically take up this course, right? So what are the career choices that you have got, right? So I have browsed through Google and then got some interesting facts and figures for you, right? So the choice of careers pertaining to fixed income securities, right? So you can basically become a fixed income trader, fixed income strategist, and fixed income analyst. Now, these are the three different choices. And again, there can always be a hybrid choice as well, right? So, like probably someone may come up with a financial analyst, but the portfolio that you have to look at is basically fixed income securities over there, right? So that is also something which is very much possible. Now, a couple of job profiles, like for example, that one I have on the screen is basically fixed income treasury operations, right? So this is again, don't look at the experience that is being sought. I'm just telling you that there are enough of jobs available just for the sake of like fixed income security. So if you are going through the course, you are adding another armor into your like bouquet, and then you are basically opening yourself to another possibilities of jobs which are available to you as well, and these are fairly decently paying jobs as well, right? So like you can see the amount, right? So the low salary of around like $65,000. Again, we know that it is in the US context. Even if you convert it into the Indian context, right, it will be close to 50 lakhs. Even if you reduce it to the half, it will be still 25 lakhs. And again, based on the kind of background that you are coming from, which college you are coming from, you can definitely expect something on the higher side for sure, right? Now, which companies are offering these kind of jobs? So if you look at it, so you have CRISIL, you have HSBC, you have Intercontinental Exchange, right? You have Facentry, right? Bahar Infocons, again, like some of the unknown names as well. But at the same time, like TCS and JP Morgan Chase also basically offers you a lot of jobs in this domain, right? And you can look at that, like most of these designations, if you are looking at, is basically fixed income research analyst salary is what we are looking at it. Now the previous one which I had shown, that was basically of like fixed income trader's salary, which was there in the dollar terms, right? So these are the two choices that you have, immediate choices which are available. Now this is something which I have taken it from ambition box, and it also gives you that like 24 lakhs is the highest average salary in the Indian context that we have. And again, like you don't need to be worried about the minimum salaries that is being reported over here, right? Because you are coming from a fairly decent background, and you already know what kind of placements that the campus provides, right? Now, what kind of skills that we need, right? So this is being reported by someone who had posted on this particular platform. They say that Bloomberg is fairly important, and again, we are covering that as a part of our course curriculum as well, right? The financial analysis like FactSet and Capital IQ, again another set of database, right? So again, we know that Bloomberg is the most comprehensive one, so we need not worry about the Capital IQ and FactSet. And when you are there in that sort of environment, right, so you should be able to figure out like what information I need and where do I need this information from. You will look at financial analysis, right? You will look at financial research, you will look at fixed income securities, research analysis, so assignment, and the way the class is going to progress, right? And the credit rating exercises that we are going to deal with. So all these are going to equip you for like this kind of a job as well. Now, these are some of the other companies which hire fixed income analysts over there, right? So you can look at Barclays, Morgan Stanley, right? Crisil, S&P, State Street, right? JPMC, Moody's, right? Equity Knowledge Partners. So all these are the companies which will basically look for this kind of a profile, right? So where someone is equipped with fixed income securities market knowledge over there. So that's all I have for this particular course, right? So I hope to see you in the class, right? And I'll love to have more number of people enrolling for the course. And a lot of you already might be remembering me from the corporate finance course, so you know the teaching style of mine as well, which is like a mix of like fun at the same time rigor as well, right? So it's going to be fun. So I'm basically uh, backing up myself on the fun part, right? So let's learn together, right? Let's grow together, and let's make the most out of this particular course that we have, right? We'll be using a textbook over here, so a hard copy of the textbook will be provided. This is the recommended textbook, right? So by Frank J. Fagoji, Bond Market Analysis and Strategies. And we'll look at like what are the other possibilities in terms of like textbook as well. A lot of supporting materials for learning during the course will be provided, right? So PPTs like Excel sheet, right, and other items also will be provided during the course that we have. Okay, so with this we'll end this briefing for fixed income securities and market. So thank you everyone for being here, and I hope to see you all in the class over there, right? So do go through the course outline once again. Do Google for items which are related to the course, right? If you have any queries, so feel free to reach out to me in my office or over my email. And in like the last resort should be basically WhatsApp. And again, I believe that all of you do have my number with you. So with this, thank you everyone. Take care. See you soon in the class.